Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. One.
That they make him a champion because he won a national title or a making title. He wants to fight the best in the world.
When you heard listening to what was your first thought? A lot of people don't know a lot about him, but he really is dangerous.
Well, our first thought when they told us, we were like, what the fuck is that? Let's look him up. Let's look him up because we had no idea who he was. You know, they told us this is the WBC champion, so we're like, we got to look him up. And yeah, he's a very dangerous guy, man. Strong guy, very confident, throws hard punches, and you know, he's. I'm pretty sure he's in the best shape of his life because this is the biggest fight of his career, and this fight, you know, could turn him into a star.
What's your biggest concern?
Well, every fight is always risky, no matter who you fight. I don't have anything really that concerns me. We just gotta be in great shape and stick to the game plan. I don't really see anything that concerns me. You know, people might say, oh, his power. He's got 15 knockouts and 22 wins. You know, Mikey's got 29 knockouts and 35 wins. So I think Mikey's knockout ratio is higher than him. So he should be more worried about Mikey's power than Mikey worried about his power. You know what I mean? So honestly, we just gotta be. I'm sure he's in great shape. We just gotta be able to stick to the game plan and fight smart the whole fight and dominate in that way. You know, but concerns, there is not really any concerns.
Does it come down to power, Robert, or is this skill?
Look, Mikey's got the skills. So Mikey's gonna fight very smart, very skillful. But Mikey does have the power, and I truly believe Mikey's got more power than him. So once Mikey starts landing, I think Mikey is gonna be doing some damage.
Describe his power because you work with a lot of hard punchers. Where do you rate Mikey's power?
Well, look, I think Mikey was already a very powerful man at 126 and 130, and moving up in weight a lot of times, fighters don't bring that power with them. But I truly believe, you know, that I'm training him, and I feel his power, and sparring partners that we're bringing in that are not no lightweights. You know, we're bringing in junior welterweights and welterweights, and they all tell me that Mikey hits harder than any welterweight. They compare him to middleweights and junior middleweight power. You know, Mikey was pretty much cutting to 126 and 130, and it was hard. So that takes a lot out of your power, muscle and everything. So I think now that Mikey's at 35 and eventually even 140, I think Mikey's going to be hitting even harder at this weight divisions than when he was at featherweight.
After a 2-year layoff, how'd you guys land at lightweight?
Well, you know, it was a decision Mikey made. You know, the first fight he asked for it at 140, but Mikey came in. I found him mistaken like 37 or 38. You know, just to test himself, and he had no problem doing that. So we decided to go to 35, pick up a title because you know it's very important. You know, for myself, even though it's not so important for Mikey, but being a 3-division world champion before you go to the 140s, you know, it just brings a lot. You know, a lot of. Bigger opportunities with TV networks, with, you know, money, bigger purses. So I told Mike, you know, we thought about, you know, we gotta get a 3rd division. You know, why skip the lightweight? You know, when you could do it. So let's get the title, and if there's something challenging there and something big, then we'll stay 135. If not, we're going to.
Do you expect him to make weight comfortably tomorrow?
Oh, Mike, you know, we're not going to train anymore. Mike is running on weight. Last night he was on weight. So this morning he hasn't done nothing. Tonight we'll check weight, and I'm sure he's going to be on weight, maybe a couple pounds, which he'll sleep off and have no problem making weight.
With Dejan, the power talk, if he feels Mikey's power and he's not able to be the aggressor like he wants to be, you think like that's his only game plan? He doesn't have the different ability to adapt like
look,
Mikey.
I don't think I don't think he's that good of a boxer because you know he's never fought like that, and you know he's like 4 inches shorter than Mikey, so I don't think he's going to be able to outbox Mikey. So yeah, he's going to go out looking for the power, and I know he's got a great heart, and he's gonna come out to try to knock Mikey out. So you know, he could get hit as much as he can. If he takes that punch, he's gonna keep coming. He's gonna keep coming. So that's what I expect.
One of Mikey's, I mean, his patience has always been one of his virtues. You think he will be a patient fight?
Look, Mikey's always fight very patiently, and he's always fight very smart in the ring. we are prepared because we know the style that Dejan brings, and this guy is going to come start quick. So we are ready to start quick also. We're not going to make the fight into a war, but Mikey's going to fight smart. But yeah, we have to be a little bit more busier.
Do you think Dejan's going to look for an early KO?
Well, I think he's going to start from round 1, and I'm sure he's ready for 12 rounds too. And for him, it's not about I have to knock him out in the early rounds. No, for him, he's thinking it could take 12 rounds, but that's what he's going to look for.
There's also talk you might train Chavez Jr. for the Canelo fight. What can you say?
Well, that we haven't talked. We're focused on Mikey for this fight, and I'm sure Chavez knows that too. That's why we haven't even talked. There's been talk with different people. The attorney or the dad or Chavez calling Abdul Mades and telling him that he's going to join our camp. I haven't talked to Chavez right now, so he's probably waiting for Mikey's fight, and I also have to be very careful with my other fighters, my other team. Depending on where Chavez wants to train, and the timing that Abdul will be fighting again, Mikey will be back in the ring sometime in the summer. So we got to figure all that. But I'm more than happy.
What do you think about the fight itself?
It's a great fight, man. Especially for all the Mexican fans. It's a fight that the fans want. It's going to be huge, and even though Chavez hasn't looked great in his last few fights, I think this fight has to, it's against Canelo, so there's a big rivalry. The father, the family, they don't want to lose to somebody like Canelo, and Canelo doesn't want to lose to Chavez, so it's going to be a great fight. I think they're both going to be in great shape.
What do you think about the weight, though? Do you think he's going to be able to
I think that he has an advantage, and what I heard with Memo, he had no problem making 67, if I'm not mistaken. So I think 64 he should be comfortable. That's what Memo said, and Memo's really good at that. So if Memo, which I think he will, I think he is going to be in charge of that, then I think Chavez won't have a problem. I think he'll have the advantage.
Knowing his reputation for avoiding training like he has in the past, does that concern you at all?
Look, I think like I said earlier, for this type of fights, you have a lot of rivalries in sports, in basketball, in baseball, in soccer, and the teams could be horrible, could be having a bad season, but when they play against each other, when those rivalries are, they give it the best. So I think this is gonna be the same thing. I think Chavez is gonna train hard because he knows that he just can't lose this fight. I'm not saying he's not going. I'm not saying he's gonna win it or he can't lose, but in himself, he's gonna train like he can't lose that fight. It's pride. It's family. It's just so much to lose.
It's a lot on line for his dad too.
A lot on line, exactly. That's what I mean. So that's why I'm sure he's gonna train very hard for